Welcome to Mac
and Jack Talks NBA. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about three topics. LeBron's fatigue and what should be done. Is Ben Simmons all-star worthy? And lastly, the comedic duo of Shaq and Charles Barkley inside the NBA. So, Mac, let's talk about LeBron's fatigue. How do you see LeBron right now?
Yeah, since his partner, AD, has been injured and out, the Lakers have dropped 3 straight, and LeBron James, Bron, has been playing 40 minutes a game. For a guy that's 36 years old, or even any NBA player, that's a lot of minutes. With Bron leading the Lakers and having championships aspirations, that may be really tiring him out a little bit in the postseason. So what do you think? If you were Frank Vogel, if you were on the coaching staff, would you play Bron 40 minutes? Or would you risk dropping a few more games and wait until AD come back? Do you think the seeding matters that much?
Well, first of all, I can see it from both perspectives. LeBron, as he said himself, if he is healthy, he'd rather play through it rather than sit games and rest. I know LeBron shouldn't rest, but from a coaching's perspective, each game matters, especially towards your seedings and your standing, because that shows how, if you're able to get home court advantage as you further progress through the NBA playoffs. So the deeper you go, it's better to have home court advantage, because then Game 7 will be at your home territory, which gives you a great advantage because you're used to playing in that arena. If I was Frank Vogel, would I play LeBron 40 plus minutes? Absolutely not, because LeBron is your treasure. So what you must do is you need a balance decipher between which teams you're playing. Is it worth LeBron playing for 35 minutes plus? And if it's back to back. So if I was playing a bad team like Washington Wizards, even though the game is close, I would rather rest LeBron and play him around the 32-minute mark or even just 30 minutes, because as much of Washington Wizards is having a hot streak lately, I would still not risk a possible LeBron injury and lose in the long term if LeBron does get an injury, then just win that one game that is meaningless, because you're playing the Washington Wizards, practically the worst record team in the East probably right now. What about you? What would you do?
There are many, many factors that I have in my mind. If I were Frank Vogel, some of the things I would think about are, first thing I want to address is, with a higher seeding, yes, you do get home court advantage, but you have to think about it that way. Are the vaccinations going to come out early enough where you're going to have a home crowd? Will you even in the playoffs going to have this kind of home court advantage? Are you going to be playing in an almost empty arena? So that factors in. And in my opinion, that's a unknown. So that kind of decreases the importance of seeding. Second of all, looking at the Western Conference, who are you really afraid of? I would say you are afraid of the Los Angeles Clippers, your ugly cousin. Are you afraid of the Utah Jazz? In my opinion, I don't know. I'm not really afraid of them. I'm not convinced yet. They seem like the Atlanta Hawks of the 2014 team, where they are a regular season team. As you know, there are a lot of regular season teams that do very well in the regular season, but they just cannot deal with the playoffs when the game slows down, when LeBron James, Bron, just totally destroys your freaking team. Like the Toronto Raptors when they were first seed twice in a row in the East with Dwayne Casey, with the Atlanta Hawks who were the first seed. They had amazing and historical franchise regular season records. And what did LeBron do? Dismantle them. 4-0 sweeps, 4-2 wins convincingly. So, yeah, I mean, I give Utah Jazz some credit. I think they're a bit more diversified and they have a bit more talent than the Atlanta Hawks and the old Toronto Raptors team. But still, I'm not that afraid of them. In fact, the second team that I'm most afraid of in the Western Conference is the Denver Nuggets. And I believe they've dropped a lot of games and they're the 8th seed right now. So to summarize, I believe regular season seeding is not that important. So if I were Frank Vogel, I would not play Bron 40 minutes, man. Well, you need Bron. You need Bron and the Looney Tunes to save you from the aliens, man. So I would not do it. If the game is close and LeBron feels he could play it and he wants to chuck in those crab dribble long 3-pointers and possibly try to win the game, sure, I'll let him do it. But if the game is very competitive and very physical, I would not play Bron. So the second topic we want to talk about is Ben Simmons, our favorite player to trash pretty much. Jack, do you think Ben Simmons should be an all-star?
According to the stats and seeding, yes, the 76ers are the current first seed. But is Ben Simmons all-star worthy? In my opinion, no. I'm not looking at it just because on stats-wise and how he had to make sacrifices for Joel Embiid to be in the MVP conversation, or he improved on his defensive end, which I totally agree. But the thing is, all-star should be a prestigious kind of thing. You should give other people more chance. Like, if Kevin Durant wasn't injured, Sabonis wouldn't even have a chance to make it to the NBA All-Star when he was having some beast stats where his stats are pretty good, 20 plus points, maybe possibly 10 plus rebounds. I believe that is a player that is even more worthy than Ben Simmons. If you had to choose a second star player just because you want to reward the 76ers for being the number 1 seed, I would even choose Tobias Harris. He is balling up this year, giving you like 20 plus points per game, shooting a lot more threes. The floor spacing is a lot better. He's playing efficiently. He's playing a 2-man game with Joel Embiid really well. So when Joel is on the bench, Tobias Harris can carry the team because he's able to handle the ball. To me, he's like a lesser talent of Ben Simmons. Except he can do a lot more, such as shooting. Shooting is very valuable. He can shoot the 3, he can drive in, he can even shoot the mid-range. That's very valuable. Ben Simmons, yeah, I can see his value. But Ben Simmons' only strong point is driving in and kicking it out to shooters. Without those shooters, opposing teams, defenders, or even help defenders can neutralize you, like how they defended LeBron in the 2007-2008 when LeBron didn't have shooters around him. He could pretty much only drive in. What Tom Thibodeau and the Boston Celtics did was they create a little 4-wall, just keep zoning in, zoning out, switching, tire you out. You'll easily be neutralized. Even Giannis Antetokounmpo, such an athletic dunk beast with such wingspan and height. It comes to show you that when you're playing against good defensive teams like the Toronto Raptors, you'll easily be able to be useless because they can just slow you down, tire you out. It's a long series. So, to me, I don't think Ben Simmons is all-star worthy. What is your perspective?
My perspective is Ben Simmons is overrated as heck. I do not like his game at all. He's not even that young anymore. Dude, this is like your 4th or 5th year in the league. Show some improvement. Your stats are pretty much the same every year. Yeah, you may be good defensively, but that's because you're 6'10" and you're guarding guards, man. You're blocking little guards that are 5-6 plus inches shorter than you. In my opinion, Ben Simmons is as Jack said, a crappier version of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can only play in the open floor. He can only drive in. And when the game slows down in the playoffs, when people are more physical and more locked in on you and form a wall against you, you really can't do much, especially when your MVP candidate player, your best player on the team is Joel Embiid, and he doesn't shoot that many threes, if at all. And so you playing with Joel Embiid, you not being able to shoot, you're not improving on your stats. I really just don't see it. Yeah, I'd rather put, if there is a rule for All-Star where all the first seeds in each conference has to have 2 All-Stars, then I would put Tobias Harris as well over Ben Simmons. But I just don't see it. In my opinion, only Joel Embiid should have been an All-Star. Some players that eventually did make it because of injury replacements, I would easily have put Sabonis of the Pacers or Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns over Ben Simmons. So it's totally wrong that how Ben Simmons got voted in. And for the third topic, we really want to talk about Inside the TNT, everyone's favorite show. Won a bunch of Emmys on Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Everyone rips on Charles Barkley in not knowing the games, and I think it's common knowledge now, and they're even quite open about it, even though in my opinion they should kind of be embarrassed about it, is that they don't watch a lot of games. They don't know a lot of the players. It seems like they are paid because their personalities and they're funny, but Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal seem to only watch a few games here and there, watch their favorite players, and only get teams. So whenever there are playing segments of who he played for Charles Barkley, he usually gets 0 out of 5 or maybe 1 out of 5 if he's lucky. And in last week's episode of the person's first name, I was so surprised Shaquille O'Neal doesn't know Siakam's first name is Pascal. This guy is a champion. This guy is a all-improved player, most improved player, the best player in the Toronto Raptors, a competitive team, a big man. He doesn't know. He's never heard of Emmanuel Quickley. This guy, his name has been floating around, been shouted out so many times, being the star rookie of the New York Knicks. He doesn't know Malik Monk. It is outrageous he doesn't know these people.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that he didn't even know Richaun Holmes. Yeah, his name is not well known, and he was playing for the Sacramento Kings. But to not even know him, even just a commoner or just a normal NBA fan, I know his name, his number, and the style he plays. So for a guy whose job is to analyze and commentate on these stuff, to not even know these players, I think you're disrespecting the players, even as a former player yourself. Especially for Shaq, a 4-time champion, and Charles Barkley. Yeah, I know he only knows the big name like LeBron, his favorite player. He's like Shannon Sharp, just likes LeBron, a big LeBron fan. But to not even know Emmanuel Quickley, the rising star, as Nelson stated, the rising star of the New York Knicks, coming off the bench too, playing less than 25 minutes per game. That dude is killing it with his floater game. Not to mention he has a sick jump shot. So for them to not even know about those players, I was quite dumbfounded. Like, whoa, you're getting paid to watch NBA games, but you don't? And you're even watching it live sometimes when you're streaming it as the game goes on, just looking at the stats. You should be able to know these players as a fellow associate of the league, a former Hall of Famer. You should give respect to the newer generations. Yeah, they might do things a bit different compared to your time, but as the time and era has go on, you just need to adapt to the newer teachings.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be a level of professionalism. You are getting paid, you're showing on TV, you're a professional analyst. You gotta at least know and have some level of depth in your player knowledge, in your team knowledge, and what's going around in the league. There is only one league. It's not even that many players. Can you imagine if you were a soccer analyst and you have to deal with different countries such as the United Kingdom, the Spanish League, the German League, the French League, the Italian League? Come on, man. There's just one American NBA league and there's only about 300 players. You should really just know the good ones. You should know every team and watch almost every game. This is your job. So step it up, guys. It's not that funny to not know these players. That's it. Thanks for listening. This is the end of today's episode.
Please like, share with friends, and subscribe.